Hey everybody. So we're going to talk about the 5 mistakes that will keep you from climbing the ranks. We're going to start with the first one, is team positioning. Team positioning in the beginning is a huge problem in low elo. Nobody positions correctly. One will dive in, no one will follow up, no one targets correctly, no one falls back together. Let's just start off with this. When your teammate dies, you can still stay on objective and try to control the crystal. But if your second teammates die, now it's 3 versus 5, you might want to fall back and wait for them to respond and then take the objective, the crystal, aka again, as a 5-man team. Trying to fight 5 as 3 is just going to make you 3 die, and the other 2 are going to spawn, and now it'll be 2 versus 5, and then they're going to die, and then 3 are going to be back up again, and one might stay back, and then 2 might go in, and then it's a dirty cycle. It's best to just have it on your hotbar and tell people to wait. That is my advice. Now, besides just team positioning as retaking as a group, it's in the beginning of the fight that you guys need to not get caught out. So when everyone's sitting there at the crystal before the timer unleashes the chains from the crystal and you can take the objective and push it, sometimes it's best just to wait and maybe let them push it first towards you. You'll see this quite often in higher elo, that they don't usually just dive bomb in. In lower elo, it can work out if you're quick and make a risk, like I talked about in one of my previous videos, is when I was a white mage and I would dive in and they're like, oh wow, a healer, and in low elo they would just get crazy about it and just blow everything on me, but I would use barrier right away, and they would just blow everything and they'd just be focused on me, and then would give my team, pressure on them and no pressure to them at all, It was pretty nice, but that's a gamble because they can CC you so fast that you won't even be able to pop barrier. So, it's a little bit of gamble in the low elo, but team positioning is key. Alright, so the second thing is push the crystal. Nobody wants to be on the crystal, it seems like in low elo. No one wants to push it. If this is your constant problem in ranking up, and this is objective that's keeping you from ranking up is because nobody wants to push the crystal, play a tank. That's really the simple answer. The second simple answer to that is play a melee class. Depending on what melee class you are, you can still respond back to the crystal and push it. Some range, like bards and so on and so forth, might not want to be on the crystal. It's not beneficial for them. But at the end of the day, every class is able to push the crystal. Just some push it more efficiently and better, and they're built around doing that. So this leads to my third point that I want to point out. That is the huge mistakes that people are making. Is certain DPS should be ignoring the crystal and living in the back line. This is your ninjas and samurais usually. They're melees that can come out as a team, starting out team positioning, getting everything correct. If you get that pick, now there's a 4v5. Now from here, it's a domino effect where you can play this efficiently and effectively. As a ninja, you can now go in the back and go and pick off the guy who's respawning. And when they're respawning, you can keep them from coming back to the crystal. Sometimes you can have 3 people not going to the crystal and they're all trying to deal with you. You have to know how to deal with this and when to deal with this. So don't always ignore the crystal, okay? You have to know who's on your team and what they're doing. So the other DPS might be doing this. If you're the DPS as well, you might want to be on the crystal then. You gotta understand your teammate and what they're trying to do and read each other back and forth. There's some synergy that has to go into this. You can't just be like, well, I'll just completely ignore the crystal. This takes a little bit of some critical thinking. But if you are a ninja, I'm telling you, go make people's lives hell. You guys are good at it. A good ninja will literally make the back line hate their lives. It's the truth. I hate ninjas. They're so amazing, I hate them. Alright, the fourth one is play around your limit breaks. Okay, so there's like 2 choke points in this game. If you want to call 3, you can call it 3 choke points. You can say the first choke point would be like a tug-of-war match right in the beginning of the crystal. You're trying to get the crystal to push towards the side that you're trying to go to win. And they're trying to push it back towards you. So at this point, you can call this a choke point in the beginning. Usually you don't have a limit break at this point, so I don't like to refer to it as a choke point, so we're going to move out and past that. We're going to call it the 50% mark. That's the choke point, where you have to unlock the part where you can push the crystal past it at 50%. That's a choke point. That is what we refer to as a choke point. You're going to use your limit breaks to take that. Some people blow their limit break the minute they get it. Congrats on you. Sometimes that's the dumbest idea you can do. You might want to hold it depending on what class you are. Some class like Dragoons has a huge AoE come down that can literally wipe people. Same with Samurai. It can be used to save, the crystal with 1v5 and kill all 5. I've done it. It's crazy. You can do some cool things with it. So you gotta think. You gotta play around your teammates. Depending, are you maybe, let's say, you're playing as a dancer. You're gonna be using that limit break to complement someone else's limit break. So you need to pay attention to limit breaks on your team, put that on your hotbar, and play around limit breaks and understand who has a limit break and who's ready to use their limit break, who hasn't used it, who's coming up on the limit break, all that good jazz. You need to pay attention to limit breaks. Limit breaks can literally make or break the game. Well, pretty much make it where you can win or make it where you lose because you blew it all and now they have it and theirs are all up and they're going to take the objective in overtime and you lose. Think like that. So sometimes it's best to hold on to your limit breaks so you can push past those barriers that are in the rink. So at the choke point it's 50% and you guys can't get it. You can get it if you guys stack your limit breaks up. You will take over that crystal. Sometimes it goes really wrong and sour, and at that point you might as well just call that a game. There are games like that, just throw in a towel. Not trying to be negative over here, but just saying. Alright, let's move on to the 5th one, the last one. Don't be afraid to use your barrier, your guard. Don't be afraid to use it. Use it as much as possible. Use it right when you start getting damage taken, because they're focusing you. Use it right after you get out of a CC, and you have to un-CC yourself from the crowd control. Maybe they're gonna be follow-up CC, but if you barrier, you're good. Maybe you're trying to defend the crystal. Maybe jump on it and then barrier, just to make sure that you weren't targeted or you were targeted. Maybe you shouldn't just save it only for the, oh, I'm gonna die, I need to pop guard. Don't do that. There's also times to use it right away when we're on a certain map. I think it's called Cloud9. It's the one with all the tornadoes and you go up in the air. If you pop that, you won't fly in the air. It's amazing. So don't be afraid to use your guard. Put it up as much as you can whenever it's up. Spam it if you have to. Just try to use it a little bit wisely. Just don't use it if no one's around you. That kind of be lame, but people want to hold on to it until they have a sliver of HP and they're like, I'm gonna die, and they pop barrier. Doesn't matter. Once you have a sliver of HP, no matter how much damage negation it gives you, when you're being targeted, focused down that much, you're probably gonna die with it on. So those are some of the things you need to keep in mind and look over it. And hope this, gave you some insight on rank to help you climb. I use these in every game I go into, and I think every game, this is always running through my head. Always running through my head. I'll give you a bonus one. Pay attention to the map and positioning of where people are located. This is not League of Legends, but sometimes it's good to glance at it and see who's behind you. Maybe there is that ninja behind you. Maybe you have the ability to answer to it. Maybe it's best not to and you push the crystal. Just throwing it out there. Hope you guys like this and I hope this helps and you guys rank up out there. You guys have a great one, alright?